Welcome back to Technuggets. In this video, I want to explain one of the very important concept, high availability and load balancing using Nginx. Have you ever wondered how does Google, Amazon and Netflix handle such a massive traffic from omnichannel? What exactly omnichannel? This omnichannel is nothing but integration of various channels like desktop, laptop, tablet, and smartphone, etc. etc. The answer for a massive traffic handling is load balancer with high availability. One of my other video on Nginx, I had explained the basic concept of Nginx, and also I mentioned this can be comparable in terms of web server. However, it's more than a web server. Yes, in this video, I will explain set up Nginx as load balancer with HA. In real world scenario, these setup will spread across multiple regions, multiple data centers, so that if one of the region or data center goes down, the other one will take over. To demonstrate this concept, I will do the local setup with the 3 instances of Tomcat and configure Nginx as LB. Before we go to this video, let us understand some of the advantage and basic LB setup with Nginx. Okay, so what are the advantages? The first thing, optimizing resource utilization. What do you mean by that? Because uh, based on your traffic, so it's trying to optimize the utilization across the instance, maximizing a throughput. This is basically the IO and the transaction per second or clicks per second, the overall performance, right? And reducing latency. So this is a good one. So when you have LB with HE, obviously your latency is reduced because of the high available server, and it is always there is some server to serve your request and ensuring fault tolerant. So in this case, if anything happens to one of the server, the traffic will be routed to the healthy server. For example, in this diagram, architectural diagram, which on right hand side where you see the Tomcat 2 is temporarily out, and the traffic from Tomcat 2 to 3 is being routed. And the other thing is scalability. When the traffic increases more, it's very easy to scale by adding few more instances on the backend without affecting the overall server performance and reliable. So you can rely on the service because it will make sure there is a service um, service availability. Okay, so that will take care of if there is any outage or anything, but still at least one instance will serve you the request. Okay, so what are the basic load balancing supported by Nginx? So this is not specific to Nginx, however, it's a basic concept. One is a round robin, in the sense the request is being routed round robin fashion across 3 instances and least connected. But these methods, even though these are a basic concept, however, it's what I'm explaining this specific to Nginx configuration. Okay, so first one is round robin, the second one is least connected. So meaning that the next request is assigned to the server with the least number of active connections. Okay, so the third one is IP hashing. A hash function is used to determine what server should be selected for the next request based on the client's IP address. Okay, the last one but not least, this is round robin with weighted. For example, I can give more weightage to one of the server. So imagine that server is heavy server. For example, it's a big one, it's got a more RAM, more CPU, and it's got more uh, compute power. So what I will try to do is I will try to make that server as more weighted so that most of the traffic is requested there. So for example, I make it as a 3, Tomcat 1 as a 3. Every for the example I'm saying is every 5 new requests which is distributed, then at least if I make it as a weight 3, the 3 requests will serve to served by Tomcat 1 instance. Remaining requests will be served by other instances. The 3 is a number, so it's you take a percentage. If it is a out of 100%, 30% will be routed to the first instance, and the rest all will be distributed to the other one. Okay. Okay. Now let us prepare for demo. So what do we need for this demo? As I mentioned earlier, 3 instances of Tomcat servers, and we need to reconfigure those Tomcat servers as a server 1, server 2, server 3 with different ports. The reason being because this demo is happening on a single instance, I mean single server, that will be a local host. So the real world scenario, as I mentioned, it may be on a different data center or different region. Okay. And also we need to have a basic J2E application, preferably allow.var, because this is a demonstration of the traffic serving, not on the application exploration, deployed on all 3 instances. So on the Tomcat server instance as well, this how do you create a basic J2 application, I covered in other videos. The installation of Tomcat servers and Nginx as covered as part of install series um, videos. On my previous videos, you can find that the basic one. Okay, so after you deployed allow.var on all 3 servers, you need to make few changes on that var file to display the server name for testing purpose. So in real world scenario, these are identical var file or identical application. It's seamless. For example, you hit a server 1 or server 2, server 3, you should get the same response. But here to demonstrate this scenario, we'll display the server name so that once if the server goes down, your traffic is served by which server. As say server 1, server 2, server 3, just we'll put a header to make it more visible where the service is served, I mean where the request has been served. Okay, and also you run or test the servers independently with a different port number. Then finally the core part, configure Nginx with HA with all 3 servers, and finally simulate the scenario of bringing down one or two servers forcefully to serve the to to redirect the traffic to the healthy servers. Here I'm not trying to explain or I'm not trying to demonstrate the traffic part. I'm trying to explain the fault tolerant part. That is what this demo is going to be. Okay. Okay. Let us dive into Tomcat configuration, right? So, where do we have to configure? Oh, first of all, we have to go to Tomcat home, then /conf and server.xml. So as I mentioned, we are going to cover 3 servers: server 1, server 2, server 3. The server 1 is a default configuration. I'm not changing. So I'm highlighting the point what I'm going to change. Server port, port number, redirect port. Okay, this is a default one is 8080, 8443, 8005 is shutdown port. In server 2, I want to change server port to 8006 and the connected port will be 8081 and redirect port will be 9443. And server 3, this port have to be unique. The reason being, as I mentioned, it's on the same servers running. If it is from a different servers, you don't need to change the configuration will same. However, in other Nginx place, you may have to change that. But here, since it's a local, you need to change this port number. Okay. This can be any port, but I'm keeping it this way. On server 3, so server port will be 8007. That's a and then connector port will be 8082 and redirect port will be 9444. Okay. Okay, now let us see how does this directory structure looks like. Okay, so I have all my Tomcat installation under Java programs. Okay, so server 1, server 2, server 3. So let me show you one by one quickly. So this Tomcat home, conf, and server.xml. I'll open with Notepad++. I will show you the change. Okay, so this is a server 1. As I mentioned, this is a server port 8005 and you have 8080 8080 and redirect port will be 8443. Okay, so we are good on this configuration, and also the web app what is deployed. Hello. So as I mentioned, the basic hello J2 application, the war files is exploded, and the changes what we are making here is a default JSP. I will show you this also. As I mentioned, this also I wanted to show that where it is serving, I will mention server 1. Okay, nothing else. It's a simple application, nothing fancy, just date and H3 as header 3, saying from which server it has been served. It's under web apps. Now we need to start the server. To start the server, you need to say startup.bat. We are on Windows, so it's a startup.bat. If you are on any other OS, you will say startup.sh. That is basically Linux. So as soon as you click, you should see a command prompt which is starting. Okay. Now, while it's starting, let's go back to server 2. It's same way. You go to conf and open server.xml. So this is where we are making a real change. Okay, I am just trying to show you the file. So port is 8006 and your connector port will be 8081 and redirect port will be 9443. As I showed in my slide, same way you have web apps and there is a hello, there's a default.jsp, and definitely this also says that it should say serving from server 2. So this is the one, server 2. Okay, let's start this also. That is startup.bat. Let it start. Go back to server 3, go to conf, server.xml, You should see the same. There's a 8082 server. So server port is 8007. Your connector port will be 8082 and redirect port is 9444. Okay, then again web app, hello, and see the content. It should say that serving from server 3. So we are setting up the whole thing, right? You can see that serving from server 3. Now let's go back, say startup, and this should start. Now all three servers are running. We need to test it individually. So one thing you have to notice is what is the port number it is running. You can see this a port 8080, that's a server 1, port 8081, server 2, and server 3 will be 8082. Okay, now let's go to the localhost 8080 the default and say hello. You should see serving from server 1, new tab, localhost colon 8081 slash hello, and you should see server 2 and open another tab, say localhost 8082 slash hello. You should see server 3. So we are good, all three servers running, and we are testing independently. Now we are going to configure this all three servers with a one single load balancer with the port 800, not individual ports, 800, that will internally load balance to all these three servers. Okay, let us see that part. Okay, now let us see how do we configure Nginx for LBHA, right? This is my Nginx server. I put it on C drive, my Windows. Then the path for this file is conf nginx.conf. So we need to add under HTTP, we need to add a upstream concept, upstream Tomcat group. It can be any name, just I kept it as Tomcat group server. That's a first server 8080 weight 3. As I mentioned, it's a weighted LB, and server 2 8081, server 3 8082. Then I'm grouping this upstream group into one server group, that is listen 800. This is your LB port number 800. So you will not be calling individually 8081, you will call 800, so that internally this will be pointing to 8080, 8081 and 8082, and server name will be localhost, the port will be 800. So how it's doing this upstream is proxy pass HTTP and call this Tomcat group. Okay, let's see this file in the directory and we'll start Nginx. Okay, now let us see the configuration in Nginx conf and your nginx.conf. Okay, let's go ahead and open this file and show you the configuration what I showed earlier. So if you come down, you will find, so this is server, it's all part of Nginx, I mean part of HTTP as a whole group Within that you will find default configuration is 80, and we are talking about 800. Okay, see here, upstream Tomcat group port 8080, wait 3, and 8081 and 8082, and finally we have a server localhost with 800 and proxy host with Tomcat. The proxy host is the one that is doing this upstream configuration. It is doing the load balancing. Okay, let us test this configuration by starting this Nginx. Double click this. It should be running as a service. So let's go back here, say localhost first. We should get a localhost welcome page of Nginx. Okay, now we need to check the port 800. We don't need this individual tabs. Let's go back here, localhost 800 and /hello. It's you are getting server 1, and keep refreshing server 2 and server 1, server 2, server 3. You got all three. So this will be keep changing. Okay, as you notice here, server 1, server 2, server 3. So it will be keep doing the round robin load balancing. Okay, now comes the final piece. Okay, let's break something to show the actual demo, the purpose of the whole configuration. Okay, let's bring down some servers forcefully and try to see how it behaves. Okay, now let's kill one of the server, preferably let's say 2. Okay, I killed it. Back to this, you refresh this, you should see 1 and 3. You can see server 1, server 3. It will be keep toggling between server 1 and 3. Okay, you will not find 2. So this is it, guys. So what exactly does, even though the server 2 is down, your service is not interrupted, and it's keep serving from server 1 and 3. Okay, let us create more trouble by killing some more instance. Okay, LB is supposed to handle the maximum outage. That's the purpose of LB. So just now we killed instance 2. Now let's go on kill instance 3. Okay, we killed it. Let's go back. It was a previously say server 3. If you refresh, ideally it should show only server 1. So we given the maximum weightage for server 1, and we have not killed it. Okay, so this is it, guys, because in this video we had seen how do we configure Tomcat with multiple instances, and we configured Nginx with LB HA. Okay, so if you like the content, please subscribe and like and comment, and follow me on Twitter. I am posting some of the important announcement on Twitter, and also I have noticed there is a lot of views happening on my videos. However, subscriber count is not increasing. So please help me increase subscriber count by subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much.